VA's Office of Blind Rehabilitation Services estimates there are approximately 130,000 veterans in the United States who are legally blind, and more than 1 million veterans who have low vision that causes a loss of ability to perform necessary daily activities. In this era of instant communication, where we get overwhelmed with data or facts that are useless to unsighted individuals, wouldn't it be great if we could count on news focused on real problems that impact the daily lives of veterans without sight? Introducing Wisdom for Blinded Veterans, an advanced informational portal designed by blind veterans specifically for blind and vision-impaired vets that, like them, are facing challenges every day. Hi, my name is Ben, and I know the frustration. I've struggled in day-to-day tasks for over 20 years since I lost my eyesight. One of my biggest challenges has always been trying to stay up to date with the latest information of my eye disease, local news, and the ever-changing technology. I wanted to be able to have one single site that merged all the data scattered, and that's why we created Wisdom for Blinded Vets. This is a portal that can be accessed via the web, a smartphone app, telephone, email, text messaging, or Amazon's Alexa. It integrates with readers such as JAWS or Apple's VoiceOver and various other tools to give you a seamless experience. This portal will keep us updated on a variety of topics and will share knowledge that can help make our lives easier and more fulfilled. Highlights of the topics covered on the portal include podcasts, events, news, blind rehab and training, information on the BVA and other groups, a list of coordinator and bros list, online groups to interact with fellow vets facing the same challenges, and much more. Give us a try. You will not be disappointed. To learn more about us, visit our website www.w4bv.org. If you're interested in sharing your knowledge, please consider becoming a contributor by logging into our portal and going to the contributor section for more information. Wisdom for Blinded Veterans, transforming blind veterans' lives.
You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind Studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show.
Welcome to Insight to Fitness, where we prove that living a fit and healthy lifestyle is not only possible, but also incredibly rewarding for individuals who are blind or visually impaired. Produced by Wisdom for the Blind and VNS Productions, this podcast is your go-to resource for discovering fun and innovative ways to stay active and healthy. Join us as we explore new approaches to fitness and wellness, showing that limitations are just opportunities waiting to be transformed. Let's dive in and have some fun. From the studio in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, here are your hosts, Benjamin Keeley and Tyler Merren.
Hey, thank you very much for that great intro. You do such a good job, Alex, to bring us in all the time. And welcome to our visitors and listeners out there. This is our first episode of the new year. And as always, I got my great co-host. How you doing today, Tyler?
Ben, I am fantastic. How are you doing today?
Doing good, man. Just hanging out and trying to get the new year started and get all these podcasts going.
Yeah, and, absolutely. You guys probably have a little less snow than we do, I would imagine.
Well, it depends on what part of the county you're in.
Yeah, county. Yeah. Florida, those northern counties get plenty of snow, don't they?
Yeah, sometimes we do, but they try and control it. They got great snow scrapers there.
It's just good. Lots of plows needed, I'm sure.
Yeah, we got to keep our city safe.
That's right.
Hey, how was your New Year's, man?
It's been really good. I've been kind of focusing on a few new things now that I have kind of stepped back from my international competitions and things like that. I've been like trying to reallocate some of my time towards some different things and working on more of my business projects, helping my girls with their schoolwork and doing some more local stuff. So I'm feeling great. I really am having a good time with it. Changed up my workout routine a little bit and trying some new things. So it's really been pretty fantastic.
It sounds awesome. A little more family time. You got to deal with that grandchild you got now.
That's right. Can never have too much family time either, I think.
No, not at all. Family time is great. You know, I've had the opportunity to spend time with, Savannah and my daughter, and we really had a good time. I have to pat myself on the back. We did a great prime rib for New Year's Eve. I roasted a prime rib and I roasted a turkey. And let me tell you, I'm pretty damn good for a blind boy.
Sounds good to me, man.
Yeah,
invite me over to the next party.
Yeah, one of our great things is to keep that going. And then, I'm getting ready for Girl Scout cookie season. So that starts pretty soon. That's always a challenge to push those Girl Scout cookies. My living room turns into a warehouse. So.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Understood, man. Understood. Good cause, though. Good cause.
Well, it is. So why don't you tell us what you're working on? I understand you're working on a special project right now. Yeah.
So as some of your listeners may know or may not know if they've picked up some of these episodes later on, one of my several hats that I wear is I spent over a decade, got my background, my education in personal training, exercise science. And one of the things I did a few years ago and is ongoing now is I created a program called Revision Fitness, which is an audio-based, text-based fitness program to teach people how to exercise properly, specifically making it accessible for people who are blind. So it's an ongoing project. There's a few hundred or over 100 lessons in the classroom teaching like different exercises, positions, postures. There are 40 plus audio workouts, some fitness plans. And so there's like several kind of meaty sections of this app, the Revision Fitness app. And I'm pretty excited because I'm actually cutting loose a new update to it in the next few days as of the recording of this podcast. So by the time people catch this, it's probably going to be live. And it is a new section called the My Stats section where you can plug in some of your information, give your, a few details about your exercise history, you can select some goals, and you can take a couple of fitness tests, a couple of basic fitness tests that I walk you through. I, have it all set up for people, and you can do these fitness tests and then kind of plug in your numbers and get some results, some normative value results where it says, based on your age or gender, here's kind of how you score. And it gives you some recommendations on what you can do to kind of bump those scores and work on improving your health and fitness and kind of targeting all of the areas of health that we want to have for that kind of total picture. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to help some people.
Well, that's pretty exciting. And I know you've had that app for a few years, right?
Yeah, it first came out, let me think. I released kind of a beta version of it, like the web version of it, I think in 2021 ish. So it's been 3-4 years that it's been out. It's been on the App Store and Google Play for 2 or 3 years now. So I get some pretty positive feedback on it. People really enjoy it, and still lots of work to be done with it. There's tons of material that I'm working on adding to it, but little by little, there's a great foundation there, though. A lot of, from beginner to advanced, people can really dig into it. And I think like the thing that I'm excited about with it that I love is, you know, my experience as a trainer goes into it. So it's not just, hey, get down, do a bunch of push-ups. There's really a lot of thick material there about learning about your body, learning about how you're supposed to move and why. One of the guides that I just recently posted for this update is called the 4Q model of exercise. It talks about the 4 different quadrants of exercise. So breaking exercise down into kind of 4 main areas. And when you target each of those areas, you get kind of the maximum benefit of your exercise regimen. So that's a big one that I'm excited about too, is teaching people how to think differently about how they move and why some of those different things are so important to have in your routine.
That's pretty cool. Can we share those 4?
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's talk about kind of how that model works and why those different areas are important. And I think that'd be great. So give you a little taste of what the update is coming out to the app. Sound good?
Sounds good. So why don't we start with number 1? Let's educate our listeners.
Let's do it. So if you take pretty much any exercise, any activity you can think of, you can generally break it down into the 4 main categories of what we call the 4Q model of exercise. Now, some of them will kind of span more than one group or one category. They can jump back and forth depending on how you set them up. But the first big one that we think about is strength. So quadrant number 1, we think of as building strength. And so, you know, Ben, you would know just as well as anybody that strength is such an important aspect of health and fitness, right? So when you have enough strength, you can stand up, move, mobilize, go up and down stairs, you know, things like that. Like it's crucial, right, to have enough strength to do the things you want to do. And so, you know, when we have strength built up, our activities of daily living become easier. We can move easier. And so when we think about exercises that build up our strength, what we think about is more resistance type exercises. So body weight movements, you think squats and pull-ups, push-ups, things like that, lifting weights, you know, dumbbell curls, bench press, bent over row, working with the machines, right? Leg presses and leg extensions, band exercises, so band curls and band shoulder presses, so stretching elastic bands. All of these will help build up your overall strength, help build up your muscle, help build up your body's ability to move itself and move objects. And what it really, the overall health benefit that's so cool with this, aside from just making things easier for you, the more muscle you have on your body, the higher your metabolism, the stronger your bones are, the better overall insulin sensitivity you have. There's just so many benefits. Your hormone balance tends to be better. Just a whole slew of benefits that comes from building up your strength. And somebody's listening to this and thinking, "Wow, I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. Why would I focus on that?"
Well,
It's not about that.
No, I agree with you because, you know, I have a therapist that helps me do all those exercises. And I know you asked me a question a second ago and I accidentally hit mute, so I apologize.
That's okay.
But yeah, it's important to start working those different muscle groups, the different movement groups, because every bit helps. And the more you do that, the more you can actually function and motivate yourself. And, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I agree with you.
Yeah. So it's not, you know, people think about strength training. You don't have to think about being a bodybuilder. You're not trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're trying to be fit. You're trying to be mobile. You're trying to, you know, think about opening up jars, carrying laundry baskets, picking up your grandkids, carrying groceries in, those sorts of things, right? You have more strength. Those are the things that you are able to work with. So huge importance when we think about this category. Everybody should be doing strength training, anywhere from young persons, 7, 8 years old. There's studies that show the benefits of doing some strength training all the way up into your 80s, your 90s. Super important.
And what's the starting point, to get that first section motivated and moving? What would we do to tie that into your daily routine?
Yeah, that's a good question, because what you want to look for, exercise is all about modifying to make it an appropriate level, right? I'm a pretty strong athlete. I've been exercising and working out for a long time, so it's not much for me to go out to my weight set and do squats at 225 pounds plus, right? But for other people, that's ludicrous to think about doing, right? Like their strength might be doing 2 sets of 10 repetitions of standing up out of the chair and sitting back down, right? Like
okay,
that's
my friend, you can say you, Ben. Okay, you can share that.
Listen, I'm not pointing any fingers, right? No, just but that's where people, and Ben, I'm going to bring you out as an example. Like you are a perfect example of this situation where like you could look at it and say, gosh, man, I can't do those heavy lifts and those, like, why would I bother doing any strength training? You, sir, do strength training on a regular basis with your physical therapist, and it's so important for you, just as important as it is for me. And you don't let the fact that you can't do those bigger things yet get in the way of improving your body. So yeah, finding that right level is so crucial.
And it's important because when I had to start doing it, I couldn't do it, and now I can do it, and I'm getting better and better. So
correct.
Don't put it off. I've gained so much direction, and even with you as a friend and a guidance, it's just very important for everybody to do it.
Totally agree. Yep. Very, very, very true. And lots of ways you can apply it, even around your house. There's lots of ways to learn those proper movements. My app, my program is one way. There are lots of other ways. Setting yourself up with a personal trainer and studying other videos and things like that. But yeah, really, it doesn't have to be complicated to start with.
And one of the things I want you to point out that when you built this app, you did build it for the vision and the blind, low vision, all of that in mind. So it's a little user friendly, don't you think?
It's meant to be. Yeah, it's definitely meant to be user friendly. I've made it as accessible for both sighted and blind, and even some aspects for hard of hearing as well. I've tried to keep as many people in mind as I can. So it really is designed to try to be a universal teaching tool, and cater to multiple levels as well. I think if you're somebody who's used to moving a lot and is a good athlete, you can find a place in this program and learn some cool stuff and have some good workouts. If you're a total beginner, there's information in there for you to get yourself started and kind of find your groove. So yeah, I tried to bring all of that training experience to the table with this program.
And that's very cool. So our listeners can, no matter where you're at, you can utilize this tool.
Yep, absolutely. And it's pretty reasonable, affordable program. There's a 2-week free trial for new users, so you can check out all of it if it works for you. After that, the pricing is super easy. It's $6 a month or $60 for the year. So cup of coffee at Starbucks, and you get the program ongoing. So yeah, it's pretty reasonable, and that kind of helps me keep the program afloat and putting new material out there and adding stuff and paying my developers to put these new sections in and keep it clean. So it works out pretty well, and people are finding some good time with it.
That's cool. Very cool. So why don't you tell us about the next phase?
Yeah, let's do that. So the the first quadrant we talked about is strength. Kind of went over some of the benefits. So the next one that we'll cover is endurance. So we have strength, the ability to kind of move yourself, lift things, open jars, carry groceries. Endurance, thinking about being able to do these things over time, right? A kind of lower intensity, longer duration. So some of the exercises we think about when we look at the endurance category: cardiovascular fitness, biking, swimming, walking, jogging, dancing, tons, rollerblading, skating, whatever you want to put in there. There's a lot of things that can fit into that category. And so when we talk about cardiovascular endurance, we talk about, the efficiency of your heart, the efficiency of your lungs and your blood to carry oxygen and other nutrients to your body to circulate and remove waste. So, tons of health benefits there, right? The stronger your heart is, the higher your oxygen carrying capacity is, the more efficient your body is at moving some of those nutrients around, the more energy you're going to have. And again, what it does is it opens up opportunities for you. I think back on a trip that my family and I took down to Georgia. You ever been to Stone Mountain in Georgia before, Ben? I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I'm not really that familiar. If you can basically bring us up to speed on that.
Yeah. So Stone Mountain, my family and I were visiting. Stone Mountain is it's a giant hill, essentially. It's not exactly a mountain, but it's a pretty good hike up to the top. There are a couple of points where you're going up pretty steep. There's some solid handrails you need to grasp onto to get all the way up to the top of this. It's I think it's a state park of some sort, and people, they go up it and down it. It takes, I don't know what it took us, an hour or so, hour and a half to get all the way up to the top. Anyway, so we started off and there were probably 9 of us in the group, and only 3 of us ended up making it all the way up. It was me and my 2 older daughters. And I had to drag them along quite a bit. They were not super thrilled about the very end of the journey. But we made it all the way to the top, and I thought, this is kind of the thing, right? This is what that endurance is all about, is being able to enjoy those moments with my girls and get some pictures at the top, and then meet some of our folks halfway back down, and just feeling good, right? Feeling like I still had a lot of energy, a lot of gas in the tank. It opens up opportunities for you to be able to go and do the things that you want to do. So this, again, you can think about this tailored to your own level, so going out and running 3 miles is probably not in the cards for a lot of people, and that's okay. So you think about improving from, an average of 500 steps a day to 600, and then to 700, and then to 800. And then you think about taking 1 flight of stairs, and then maybe next time taking 2 flights of stairs and practicing that. So, it's a slow build to improving your endurance over time. That's great.
And where is that located?
Stone Mountain is located just outside of Atlanta, kind of northern Georgia area. I've been there one time, so can't exactly give good directions, but no, it was beautiful. We had a great time.
Right outside Atlanta, it's give you an opportunity to go see the Coca-Cola Museum.
There you go. 2 birds with 1 stone.
That's right.
Mountain.
Great. And so why don't we get ready to take a break and check in with the studio? And when we come back, we'll continue talking about the new release.
Perfect.
Wisdom for the Blind is dedicated to doing everything we can for the blind and sight impaired. If you'd like to bless us with a donation to keep the website, the podcast, the webinars, and the radio station operating, we can't express how grateful we'd be. You can go to the website at w4tb.org. That's4tb.org, and hit the donation button. Or you can mail it to Wisdom for the Blind Incorporated. Attention donations. 1005 Marine Mile Boulevard, Suite 255, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 333-15. Wisdom for the Blind is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. Remember, it's tax deductible. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts at Wisdom for the Blind. Are you a big geek? Do you enjoy learning about new technology? Then join us on the fourth Thursday of every month for the Wisdom Geek Club at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also hear a pre-recorded episode on Wisdom Radio every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. For more information, hit up w4tb.org and click on the Geek Club button on the main page. And don't forget to share the wisdom with a friend. You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back into Insight to Fitness with Ben and Tyler. Thank you guys so much for those commercials. They do a good job, don't they, Ben? Keeping them nice and clean and professional.
Oh, I think they really do. And, you know, it gives you a variety of what's going on. You know, our partners, Operation Song and the BVA and all kinds of things, and just lets you know what's going on. And all our other podcasts, the Geek Club and all those things. There's a lot of stuff out there for our listeners.
Some pretty cool stuff.
So our next thing is going to be about what?
So we have, we've gotten 2 quadrants in so far. I don't want to put you on the spot, Ben, but can you name the 2?
Balance.
Haven't gotten there yet. The 2 that we've done so far. Can you name the 2 that we've done so far?
No.
Oh. I'm just messing with you. So yeah, so let's move on to that. So we've covered strength and we've covered endurance. Those are like the 2 quadrants, the 2 main ones that we've gone over, right? So strength.
I knew that.
You knew that. I know you did. I was
so I'm just getting old.
Yeah.
So.
This is why we record this stuff, right? You can go back and study your notes. And strength training, super crucial, right? If I had to pick a category, I would tend to lean towards strength training, but there are so many benefits to all the other ones, but huge benefits you get from that.
I definitely agree with you. I think that the most important one for me is strength. I know when I started going through this different scenarios that I was going through the last month, strength was important so I can maneuver, get up on my own and stuff like that. And I know that my rehabilitation center, they worked a lot on the strength, and I think that's helped me because I can see the difference in my body and being able to function better with that strength going up there. So strength to me is a very important one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I believe as well that like the thing about having good strength is it kind of bolsters the other quadrants a little bit. It's difficult to have good endurance without having a good foundation of strength. And some of these other categories, it's kind of applicable as well. But, again, as we talked about, each one kind of brings its own benefits. Just want to make sure people are wrapping their minds around how awesome these can be. And when you kind of recategorize the way you move and think about movement, this can kind of bring things into focus. So the next one we covered was endurance, right? So being able to kind of do these things a little more long term. You're not thinking about necessarily lifting heavy weights or anything like that, but like going up Stone Mountain or spending some time with the grandkids at the playground and running around with them a little bit or whatever it might be, right? So opens up those opportunities.
Oh yeah, endurance is important. I've seen myself go from 1 rep to 4 reps,
Yeah. Yeah. And that it can make all of the difference when it comes to the things that you're really looking to do. And I mean, not to get too far off track here, but like that's the whole thing with fitness that I think people don't focus on enough, is that you do fitness in order to do other things, right? Like to get to the things that are super important to you. And a lot of times it's, quality time with family, as we've talked about, and being able to get up and do. And, so those are important things to keep in mind.
It definitely is. So going on to part number 3.
Yeah. So the third quadrant that we typically focus on is flexibility. And most people can get a good picture of that pretty quickly. Flexibility is being able to kind of move through a full range of motion in each of your muscles and joints. So, our body has multiple sets of muscles, multiple sets of bones, joints, ligaments, and each kind of set and pairing is designed to move in a particular pattern and through a particular range of motion. So when that is limited, when it's kind of confined shorter than its natural movement pattern, you end up with joint and muscle imbalances. And for anybody who's kind of like a car person, I'm not necessarily a car person, but I think it's a good analogy. If the wheels are not aligned on your car, you get a lot more wear and tear on your car. Like the longer you go, the more it kind of breaks down your vehicle. So you can think of flexibility as kind of a similar concept. If you're not very flexible, then you're constantly kind of tugging and pulling on your joints. You're pulling your skeletal system out of alignment. You're burning extra energy because your muscles are tight and they're kind of fighting against each other's movements. So when you improve your flexibility, you improve your range of motion, you conserve energy, you reduce your risk of energy. You reduce your risk of injury. There we go. I can say things. And you typically reduce pain. Better motion reduces pain. So again, tons and tons of benefits of improving your flexibility. I'm just pausing for a minute here, Ben, if you wanted to jump in. I don't know if you're muted or not, but happy to keep on going if you want.
No, that's fine. So yeah, keep on going because I lost it.
No problem. Yeah.
There.
So, I guess the question comes back, right, Ben? Like, how do we get on this train, right? Like, you're not a very flexible person. How do we get started? The thing that's a little bit unique about this category versus endurance and strength is flexibility is kind of one of those things that not only can you do daily, but multiple times a day is really the right way to do this. You do some strength training. You kind of need to give your body some time to repair itself. You do a good endurance workout. You've gone for a long power walk, or you sat down on the rowing machine. You did a good workout. You got to give your body some time to recover. Flexibility, though, you could stretch multiple times a day throughout the day, and that's actually more beneficial for you than anything else. So,
isn't it true that flexing even before you start your daily workout is important to warm up the muscle?
Yeah, exactly. So starting with some flexibility work before a workout can do a lot of beneficial things for you, warming up your muscles, getting your body primed for those exercises. So you can think about flexibility in kind of two main categories. There's actually a third, but I don't tend to worry about that with most people because it's more for like elite level competition. But dynamic stretches and static stretches are the two different things that we kind of focus on when it comes to improving our range of motion.
Can you describe those?
Yeah. So static meaning not moving, right? So a static stretch is what you would typically think of as a stretch. Like I'm going to try to reach down for my toes and I'm going to go to the point where I feel a stretch. And I'm going to pause and I'm going to hold it. I'm going to take some deep breaths. I'm going to stay in that stretch. I'm not going to move. I'm going to be static for a set duration of time, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And that, what happens is eventually after, that 15 to 20 seconds plus, the muscle says, okay, we're stretched. We're going to relax now and release and stretch a little further. So once you have that kind of static stretch in place, you've elongated the muscle, you come back out of that stretch for the next 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I'd have to look at the exact number. But for a duration of time, that muscle stays a little bit longer than it was before. So doing that throughout the day will help kind of permanently lengthen those muscles to get a better range of motion. So that's static stretching. And you typically want to think about doing that after a workout, once your body's already warmed up, once you've completed your exercise. The other one, dynamic stretching. This is kind of a rinse and repeat type stretch. So let's take that same movement that we just talked about, reaching down for your toes. But instead of holding it for 15, 20, 25 seconds, you're going to reach down. You're going to take a deep breath and breathe in and out and then come back up. You hold it for about 2 or 3 seconds. Reach down again, hold it for about 2 or 3 seconds, come back up. Reach down again, hold it about 2 or 3 seconds. You're going to rinse and repeat, 5, 6 times. And what this does is it kind of slowly pulls the muscle open and lets it relax. Pulls it open, lets it relax. And that kind of rinse and repeat cycle will push some heat into the muscles and get your body warmed up and elongated and prepared for exercise. So dynamic stretching prior to exercise, static stretching after, and doing these things just kind of consistently throughout the day will really, really help improve your range of motion and flexibility. So with that, there's a few examples that we could cover and some kind of neat ways to add that into your everyday activity. But I think we got to take a commercial break real quick. So Ben, we'll come back in just a minute.
Well, that part is very interesting, Tyler, and it just shows the importance of everything and how everything ties together from step 1 to step 4, which I'd like to learn when we get back. But first, we're going to check in with our sponsors, and if our listeners be kind enough to stick with us. This is Tyler and Ben with Insight to Fitness by Wisdom for the Blind Studios in sunny Fort Lauderdale. We'll be right back.
I took a musket ball in Chancellorsville.
Hi, I'm Mike Byer, Executive Director for Operation Song, where we pair Nashville's songwriters with veterans, active duty military, and their families to tell their stories through the process of songwriting. Our services are 100% free, and songwriting or musical talent is not required. For more information, check us out at operationsong.org. If you think this is something you're interested in, email us at contact@operationsong.org.
Till the last Monday in May.
Looking for a fitness app that is accessible for the blind? Well, look no further. Revision Fitness is just what the trainer ordered. This audio and text-based fitness program has a wide selection of fitness options, including cardio, strength, yoga, balance, flexibility, and even progressive relaxation sessions. Download Revision Fitness on the App Store or Google Play, or visit revisionfitnessapp.com and get a free 14-day trial for new users. Find your fit with Revision Fitness. And as always,
Revision Fitness.
Let's change the way we look at it.
You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind Studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB Radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking with us and welcome back to Insight to Fitness with Tyler and Ben in the Fort Lauderdale studios. And anything else we want to wrap up before we move on to balance?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say one thing about it, Ben. Thanks for bringing this back around, because one of the things that is interesting about flexibility is, like I said, it's kind of you can kind of think about it almost as an all day, every day kind of thing, right? And just an interesting anecdote from me. I have pretty good endurance. I have pretty good strength. I've not really ever been known for my flexibility. However, I know that's an area that I need to continue to work on. So I've improved it quite a bit over the millennia that I've been alive. But one of the things I was going to mention is I used to have a really tough time with my hip rotation. And so, Ben, I don't if I can describe this right, kind of the gentleman's seated position of, you're sitting back in a chair, you kind of relax and you take one leg and you lift that leg up and put the outside of the ankle of that leg on your opposite knee. You're kind of sitting in that kind of figure 4 posture, right? It's like a gentleman's seated position. And I used to have a terrible time with that. Like I couldn't turn my hip enough, all the years of throwing a ball off one leg and as stepping into a throw. So anyway, years and years ago, I'm at my church on Wednesday nights and I'm sitting in class and I thought, you know what, I am just going to, while I'm paying attention to what the pastor's saying here, I'm going to work on opening this hip up. I'm just sitting here, might as well. And I think, 2-3 minutes at a time, and I kind of switch legs and go back and forth as I'm doing this study. And every time I went to the class, I would do it a little bit longer and a little bit longer. And it took me probably 5 or 6 months, and I could actually sit comfortably in that position, finally opening up my hip enough and stretching it out enough to be able to do that. So it wasn't any kind of big magical gym going plan. I literally just sat in this Bible study class and worked on opening up my hip by sitting in that posture. So, something that people can think about as they go forward with this category is targeting some of those areas they know they're weak in, and maybe doing something throughout the day to make it better.
Well, that's important because, we all know that we end up sitting a good portion of our day in front of a computer and, watching TV and stuff like that. So don't miss those opportunities, I guess, right?
Sure. Take them while they're there. It's that same idea of parking your car further out in the parking lot or taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Like, be a little creative on keeping yourself fit and moving throughout the day, and you'd be surprised how far it can take you.
I agree. I wonder if they'll let me park my car out further in the parking lot.
They should, man. Absolutely, they should.
They should probably want me to park it out further in the parking lot.
Me too. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
All right. So the last segment we're going to be talking about is balance. Is that?
Yes, you got it. You got an A on the quiz. So the last category is balance. And now this one is such an interesting category because strength, endurance, flexibility, I think it's pretty straightforward. Balance is such a unique kind of category to look at because it's so many factors and kind of spreads across so much space. So balance is simply put, the ability to center yourself over an external force, usually gravity, right? So we think of balance being able to stand on one foot or things like that. But this category also kind of covers the category of what we call functional movement, right? So the ability to kind of coordinate your movements in a smooth pattern, being able to not only balance on one foot, but being able to reach down and pick something up and turn and put it up on a shelf, or, coordinated movements like shooting a basketball or hitting a tennis ball. things like that. Coordination can kind of be slotted into this category. But just in general, thinking balance, you need good strength to have good balance. Typically, flexibility is helpful, but this is a coordinated effort of your muscles to keep your body centered over gravity. There is an audio component, a visual component, and a nerve sensory component. So for gentlemen like you and I, Ben, or listeners who are visually impaired, maybe even having some hearing impairments, balance becomes trickier when you can't see and when you can't hear. So keep that in mind. I always tell people, yes, it's more challenging for us, but that doesn't mean that you can't have good balance. Lots of people who are blind or deaf have excellent balance, but it's something you have to kind of work at and dig into, right?
Yeah, one of the things I noticed in my time, I went from no cane to a cane, and then I didn't work on my balance, and then I went from a cane to a walker. So it's important to keep those skills sharpened.
Yeah, it really is. And so when we talk about keeping those skills sharp, like what's the benefit of having good balance? Well, a lot of the things that we've already talked about, where you're talking efficiency of movement and energy conservation, the better your balance, typically, like the more energy you're conserving with every movement. But the big one for this is the idea of safety, right? As we get older, our balance tends to wane a little bit. So the more you focus on your balance, generally the safer you are, the less risk you are for falling over and getting injured. So it is a wildly important category for us to target, especially as we get older.
I agree 100%. Some things we can do to sharpen our balance?
Yeah, so balance, I think, again, kind of like flexibility, is one of those things that you can take a look at multiple times a day, every day. So there's some very, very basic balance things that can be done, all the way up to super advanced balance things that you can challenge yourself with. So some real basic stuff. Okay, I'll preface all of this with safety is number one, right? Have a support next to you to use as needed. A sturdy chair, a countertop, a wall, something that you can help kind of grasp onto for good balance. So you're starting off very, very basic. Tall, back straight, head up. Just bring your feet together. Okay, so you're narrowing your base. Feet together, toes, heels, ankles, everything together. Stand up nice and tall. For some of us, it'll be like, oh boy, little wobble. Now I don't have my feet nice and wide. I'm narrowing my center of balance. That's can be a good start. You do that multiple times a day. You're practicing centering yourself over a narrow base of your feet together. From there, you can go to what's called a heel-toe stance. Okay, so standing with both feet on the ground, but instead of side by side, they're forward and back. So you take your left foot and plant it directly in front of your right foot. So the heels of your left foot are touching the toes of your right, and you're kind of on this balance beam. And you'd be surprised. You think, man, I got both feet on the ground. I should be steady. You get in that narrow balance beam, heel-toe stance, and boy, it can be tricky to keep yourself centered, right? So you work on that. You practice with your left foot forward, and then you practice with your right foot forward. You start a timer and see how long you can go with that timer and keep yourself moving on up. And then from there, you get to single leg stance, and you get to standing on one leg and kind of moving the opposite leg around, and it can get pretty hairy from there. So lots of ways to advance that.
Is that how you practice your beam routine when you're in the Olympics?
I would think so. I wasn't much of a beam guy. Oh, me, yeah. I like staying firmly on the ground. I will tell you though that I have done some gymnastics before, and I have done a little bit of beam, and hats off to anybody who does gymnastics, because it is such a cool sport. Wildly important to have balance and strength and coordination, all that stuff in that one.
Did you see some opportunities in Paris?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I didn't get a chance to see any gymnastics while I was in Paris, no, but I don't know. I'm going to retire from goalball and get into blind gymnastics, maybe go into my next sport.
I think that'd be cool. I look forward to that.
Me too. But yeah, I think balance is even more than flexibility. One of those opportunities you can find throughout the day. You know, you're standing at the washing machine, the dryer, and you're folding up some clothes. You know, try to center yourself over one foot. 98% of your weight on one foot and 2% on the other, you know, and try to work on that balance, and then switch back and forth as you're folding clothes, as you're doing some dishes, you're standing in the line at the grocery store, you know, something like that. People, I don't know, like, what if somebody's looking at it? Who cares? You know, you're working on you're working on keeping yourself fit, and guess that's just my mentality. I don't really care if people think I'm funny. So
you can look at it another way. Maybe you get motivated by seeing you do it.
That's exactly right. Yep, exactly right. So, you know, different things that you can challenge yourself to do throughout the day. I read some information from another trainer before, a lady who did a lot of ballet and other things like that, and she said something as simple as balancing on one foot, kind of bringing your other leg up and using your foot that's up in the air to draw the letters of the alphabet. So you do that once a day on each foot, and that'll go a long way to challenging your balance and keeping you upright a little more regularly. Maybe you can do the Braille alphabet. I don't know.
There you go. I can tell you that one of the things that my trainer does is I'm not allowed to put pressure right now on my right foot because it's healing from the surgery. But so he has me stand up, lift my right foot up in a ballet stance, and then just make sure that I'm steady and, you know, not shaking, and then let go of the bar. And it's a hard exercise, but I'm getting better. So.
Yeah, great example, right? So you're up, you're steady, you let go of the bar. I'm guessing you've got a duration of time you're aiming for, and then maybe you grab onto the bar again, then maybe you let go again. And so little steps, right? Little progress that is made that way. And
we're actually doing about 5 minutes, which is pretty dang good. So.
That's pretty impressive. That's very impressive. And the more you focus on that, the stronger you get, the better your balance. And again, all of this opens up opportunities for you to do other things in life that you may not have been able to do before. It gives you the chance to go up stone mountains and all of those other things, playing with your kids and grandkids. And so that is the biggest thing to focus on. And I think the last piece that I would throw out and kind of wrapping all of this together is that, you know, fitness, we've kind of talked about this before, Ben, but fitness is a lifelong journey, my friend. It's a lifelong journey. You know, some of us are just at the first stages, even though we're later on in life, and that's okay. Some of us are much further along. Some of us have backtracked, but you should get up every day and have a plan on how to improve your health and fitness every day. And sometimes that means just going for a walk. Sometimes it means doing a weightlifting session. Sometimes that means doing some stretches throughout the day. You know, whatever it is, you should have a plan to improve your health and fitness every day, because you're worth it. You are worth that effort, and your family is worth that effort, and you're going to just pay yourself in dividends by doing it.
I agree 100%. You know, I really wasn't focused on fitness that much. I was working on my weight, you know, before the accident. And, you know, I was making progress there, but the accident actually put me into a whole new realm, as you know. And, I think it's important to take that as a sign, and, you know, you got to do it for yourself. You got to do it for your family, your loved ones, and your friends. And order is do it for yourself, then your family, and then your friends. And I'm really, I see progress, and it's actually helping me get better. And I think fitness is a big part of what we're doing today.
Love it, man. Couldn't agree more.
So when we get ready to wrap up, why don't you just go through the 4 segments one more time so people like me can remember, because I know you get the best.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend. We've got 4 categories to think about. Most every exercise can fit into these 4 categories. Some kind of spill over into multiple categories, but we're thinking exercises that help build up our strength, exercises that help build up our endurance, exercises that help improve our flexibility, and then the last category, exercises that will improve our balance and coordination. Those are the 4 of the 4Q model that you can find now in the fitness guide section of the Revision Fitness app. And hopefully we'll give you a little better snapshot of ways you can think about your health and fitness.
I appreciate it. I think we've covered a lot of great stuff. What we're going to do now is we're going to just check in the studio. They're going to share some other stuff with us. Then Tyler and I will be back to close up the show. So if you stick with us, we're going to toss it to Allie in the studio, and we'll be back right after that. This is Tyler and Ben for Insight to Fitness in the Wisdom Studios in Fort Lauderdale. And we appreciate you listening. We'll be right back after the checking in with Allie. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. And to our listeners, thank you for dropping in today to listen to Insight to Fitness with our hosts, Benjamin Keeley and Tyler Merren. Simone Biles is already an 11-time Olympic medalist. It seems as if ever since she took the world by storm, she just continued to stack on accomplishment after accomplishment. The prolific gymnast has yet added another title to her resume, being named the 2024 Sports Illustrated Sportsperson of the Year. Simone Biles earned more gold medals in her brilliant 2024 Paris Olympics performance. Specifically, she added 4 new medals to her collection in a combination of team, all-around, vault, and floor exercise. Simone Biles is only 27 years old, and she is tied for the second most decorated female gymnast in Olympic history. She won 3 gold medals and a silver medal in Paris a few years ago, after withdrawing from the team final at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, while suffering from the disorienting gymnast condition, the twisties. Simone Biles received her 2024 Sportsperson of the Year award on January 7, at the Sports Illustrated Annual Awards ceremony in Las Vegas. Congratulations to Simone and her family on all of her greatness and accomplishments. In our next order of business, on October 1, 2024, we all were just celebrating the 100th birthday of our 39th president, Mr. Jimmy Carter. However, a little bit more than a month later, Nobel Peace Prize winner and president, Jimmy Carter has died at the age of 100 years old. He died on Sunday, December 29, in his home in Plains, Georgia. Carter was 100 years old and the oldest living U.S. president of all time. While a cause of death has not been announced, his family has been public about President Carter's multitude of hospital stays and has said that he would eventually stop medical treatment and spend the remainder of his time at home under hospice care. In previous years, President Carter was treated for an aggressive form of melanoma skin cancer, along with tumors that would eventually spread to his liver and brain. Carter and his wife Rosalind are survived by their children, Jack, Chip, Jeff, and Amy, along with 11 grandchildren and 14 great-grandchildren. His children looked at him as a hero and will forever remember who he was, and what he represented and meant to the world. We thank President Jimmy Carter for all he has done, and he will truly be missed. This has been Ellie from the Wisdom for the Blind Studios. Thank you for tuning in. Now back to you, Ben and Tyler.
Ice cream. All the ice cream in my house, in the world, and most of my stuffed animals.
My video games and, my phone.
What would you give for your freedom? Would you give your eyesight? Would you give ever seeing the sunset again? Would you give the ability to see your children's future? Thousands of brave men and women who served in the United States Armed Forces, have given their eyesight in defense of our freedom. And the Blinded Veterans Association wants to give them their freedom back, but it needs your help. Go to BVA.org to find out about how BVA's free programs and services, advocacy, education, peer support, scholarships, and more help America's heroes to not just deal with the emotional and physical issues of sudden sight loss or impairment, but actually work to get them back to the independent lives they deserve to live. Go to BVA.org to find out how you can make a difference. They fought for your independence, and by going to BVA.org, you can find out how to help these veterans regain theirs. Go to BVA.org today.
Veterans deserve as much help as they can get. They put their lives on the line for their country, and yet there's still an ongoing mental health crisis among military veterans that needs to be addressed. Well, if you're a veteran who wants the support of fellow veterans and to support fellow veterans, join Wisdom for the Blind's Cup of Joe virtual coffee and chat. It's low-key, fun, and gives veterans an outlet to talk with others who fully understand what they're going through. Get connected at Wisdom for the Blind's website, w4tb.org/cupofjoe.
I was a wide-eyed kid with time to spare for listening. He was a soldier in a war with a heart that kept on giving. I used to take him a cheer wine and a slice of mama's pie, sit down beside his rocking chair and he'd tell me about life. His second tour overseas got the better of his eyes. What it took from his vision, he more than gained inside. Probably asking things you shouldn't, but he never seemed to care. There was a world of wisdom painted in the memories he'd shared. Turning out the lights doesn't have to leave you in the dark. Sometimes you see with your ears and you hear with your heart. You wanna find the calm waters, you gotta navigate the seas. Love ain't just a word you say, and freedom don't come free. Just a few things that a blind man helped me see. In all the time that I knew him, I never knew him to complain. He'd rather carry on about trucks, ships, trains, and jet airplanes. We laughed until we cried and talked until we prayed. When the storms of life roll in, I think back to those days. Turn out the lights doesn't have to leave you in the dark. Sometimes you see with your ears and you hear with your heart. You wanna find the calm waters, you gotta navigate the seas. Love ain't just a word you say, and freedom don't come free. Just a few things that a blind man helped me see. Oh, he helped me see. Turn out the lights doesn't have to leave you in the dark. Sometimes you see with your ears and you hear with your heart. You wanna find the calm waters, you gotta navigate the seas. Love ain't just a word you say, and freedom don't come free. Just a few things that a blind man helped me see.
You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind Studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show.
Hey, Allie, you're always great to hear from you. Thanks for updating us. You guys in the studio do a great job. And everybody, thanks for participating in our show today. Tyler, it's great talking with you again, and Happy New Year one more time. Anything in closing, like maybe tell us how they can get the app?
Yeah, absolutely. I love what we talked about today, and I hope people kind of take away an idea that, we went over a lot of stuff, and, hopefully it didn't sound complex. It's not meant to be overwhelming. So, it's meant to just kind of create a better snapshot of where you can organize yourself when it comes to health and fitness. But if you need more information, you want more information, you want some resources, you want some different exercises to start working on these different categories, maybe a plan to help you kind of point the right direction, you can check out the resource that I put together, the Revision Fitness Program. That's capital R, lowercase e, capital V, Revision. It's a little play on words there, but the Revision Fitness Program, which can be found on Google Play or the App Store just by searching Revision Fitness. Or you can go to revisionfitnessapp.com. That's the web-based version of the program. New users will get 2 weeks, 14 days to try it out totally free. And you can check out every drop of material we have on the program. And then after that, if it seems to suit you, you can choose from one of two options, kind of a monthly or annual subscription. And they're pretty reasonable, I think, and gives people a chance to keep going on their fitness journey. So I'm happy to help out with anything you might need as well. There's a contact us button built into that app, built into the program. Send an email directly to me. So I'm available to help out where needed.
Great. And, everybody, Insight to Fitness is a great podcast. Make sure you like it, share it with a friend. And, Tyler has some great info. I have some great sarcasm, and we just do fun there.
You're a good color commentator. I like it.
So I'm glad that you guys joined us this episode. Tyler, Happy New Year, my friend. And
likewise. Hope everything's well with you and your family, and it's been a good year so far, right? We make it a good year.
Yeah, we're making progress all the way around. And everybody remember that if you like what Wisdom puts out, you can always donate. Go to the website under donations. Or if you'd like to register to get more information, we do about 18 podcasts and webinars a month. Everything from technology to book clubs to all kinds of great things. So please, look and see what else we have. And thank you for joining us. So this is Tyler and Ben for Insight to Fitness. Until our next episode, I'd like to thank our producer who always keeps me straight, Bree. Thanks. Great job. She runs our studio. And we'll see you next time. This is Tyler and Ben, Insight to Fitness for Wisdom for the Blind Studios. Thanks for joining us. Be safe.
Wisdom for the Blind is dedicated to doing everything we can for the blind and sight impaired. If you'd like to bless us with a donation to keep the website, the podcast, the webinars, and the radio station operating, we can't express how grateful we'd be. You can go to the website at w4tb.org. That's w4tb.org and hit the donation button. Or you can mail it to Wisdom for the Blind Incorporated. Attention donations. 1005 Marine Mile Boulevard, Suite 255, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33315. Wisdom for the Blind is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. Remember, it's tax deductible. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts at Wisdom for the Blind. Do you enjoy a good read? Or do you enjoy sharing new books with friends? Then join us on the second Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Wisdom Books, a virtual book club just for the blind or visually impaired. You can also hear a pre-recorded episode on Wisdom Radio every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. For more information, go to w4tb.org. and click the link Wisdom Books for more information. And please don't forget to share the wisdom. You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind Studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show.
You've been listening to Insight to Fitness, produced by Wisdom for the Blind and VNS Productions, a division of VNS International. Being blind or unsighted doesn't mean you can't live an active, healthy lifestyle. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, visit the website at w4tb.org. Don't forget to share the wisdom and tell a friend.